And Mike, who's watching the show? Benjamin Bratt.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
I'm well.
Things are all right?
Yeah, I just got to your fair city last night,
Nice.
so it's been a nice leisure day today.
Congrats on the film, this new one.
Thank you, man.
It's a watch, man. When you get into this movie and watch it, it's obviously telling any story that relates to an Aboriginal or an Indigenous culture. It's complicated.
Yeah.
And any idea of presenting solutions is complicated.
Yes.
You come into this by reading the script and think, it's a story I want to tell?
Yeah, you know, I was compelled immediately by the writing, and that's the first thing any actor looks at. In point of fact, the story is not unfamiliar. In fact, it's really the exploration of what it means to be a teenager and the angst that you're filled with, trying to find your place in your world.
Well, the kid is sort of at the heart of this film. Has kind of been failed by a lot of people in his life, and you step in as not the dad, but the other guy who tries to be the positive influence in his life.
Right.
I mean, like your own childhood, I mean, did you have to go through that same experience, trying to find that guy?
Yeah, the character I play, his name is Jed, and he's
Wicked facial hair.
wicked facial hair, walrus type of mustache. Not real, by the way. But he happens to be the only benevolent male figure in the film that is supportive of Larry, this teenager who's going through his issues. I'm a father myself, and
You're also a son.
I'm also a son. And so, yeah, it's a very complex thing. But at the end of the day, as a man in real life, I recognize the importance of nurturing and love and being there, just being present, really, in my children's life. And as a son who didn't have a father who was present in my young life, you know, you take all these things from your personal life and you use it in your craft. And so the character of Jed, you know, especially within a community that is rife with dysfunction. It's no secret to anyone that within Native communities, both in America and in Canada, part of the historical legacy is you know, substance abuse and domestic violence and high rates of suicide that come as a result of being oppressed and disenfranchised. And so to have the opportunity to portray a character who's this positive, someone who embraces his traditional heritage and recognizes to define who you are truly as a man is to embrace those things. They identify you, they define you, like the use of the drum and the language and the songs and the prayer. And he recognizes the importance of taking that knowledge, which is a gift from the elders really, and giving it to this young person who's truly in need, in desperate need of identifying himself. It was an honor for me to play someone like that.
So your mom, though, I want to show you a picture here. This is a crucial moment in any kid's life, right? There's this amazing moment when you go,
wow, where did you get that?
There she is, right?
That's remarkable. Yeah. That's on the island, huh?
That's on Alcatraz.
Wow, I've never actually seen that photo.
Look at her.
That's beautiful, man.
Dynamite style.
That's the 70s, early 70s.
So wait, you're 6 years old when your mom said we're going to Alcatraz?
Yeah, you know, my mom's involvement with the Native community in San Francisco, where I was born and raised, began when she divorced my father. My father was of English and German descent, and he split to essentially marry another woman. And so my mother was left to raise single-handedly 5 of us. And it was, you know, it was tough. We were on welfare for a while, but she found solace in and a sense of belonging, not to get away from the film, but that's really what the film is about, this need for a sense of belonging. She found that in the Native community in San Francisco. So thus began this odyssey, really, and what became my community. And again, bringing it all full circle, recognizing that we all really are just the same. I mean, you're of Greek heritage, I'm of a different heritage, as is everyone else here, and yet, at the end of the day, we're human beings. We all want the same thing, this sense of belonging and comfort and love.
I think we have a clip. We have a clip of Alcatraz, that moment.
There's just a dual sense of justice in this country. We'd like an end to this, and I think this here, manning the island of Alcatraz is a positive step in that direction. If they're going to treat us separately, then we'll remain separately. Thank you.
That's Richard Oakes.
That's Richard
wow.
Oakes.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, that just gave me chills, man.
well, it's important to see these key moments, right?
Yeah.
So your brother and you make films, and part of it is to get the other voice on screen, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I think any storyteller's job is to entertain. And yet, from my perspective, people of color in general have been underrepresented in mainstream media, certainly when it comes to television and film. So if we can color it with a cultural aspect that sheds new light on, again, this is my mantra, on the fact that we are ultimately the same, why not do it? Because I think Hollywood has really given short shrift to people of color in general, and in particular to Native culture. I mean, the portrayals that you see typically in films and television of Native folks, or even Latinos for that matter, they just really scratch the surface. And there's a whole host of stories. And what are we? Anywhere in the world, if not our stories. We are our stories. So my brother and I both thought it was important for us to take authorship of our own stories, because they are interesting, and hopefully not just to us, but to everyone.
Oh my God.
Robot Chicken.
Now listen, I hate to admit it.
Yeah.
But that only underscores Dick Wolf's claim that no matter which actor you plug in, the formula still works.
That's right.
That was compelling. I was drawn.
Did that ever frustrate you? I mean, like, I get it. Law and Order is an amazing show, maybe one of the best ever. But it's so great. Robot Chicken figured it out, didn't they? But did you ever feel the formula was just too much?
No, you know, I really believe that was the key to its success. And I know Dick Wolf historically caught heat for saying that, you know, it's not about the actors, but he's 100% right.
Isn't that funny though, man? Because most people wouldn't walk away necessarily from a Law and Order in the moment, and you could have gone at least a couple of years and felt creatively satisfied, right? At least a couple.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because one of my professors in grad school said, your number one objective as an actor is to stay employed. And I continue to follow that directive, but it seemed foolhardy at the time to a lot of people that I would just walk away from a sure thing. But you know, you have to satisfy your muse, and I don't know what exactly was my muse then, but it wasn't to remain where I was. It was a great time in my life, and here's the good news, is people still think I'm on the show.
That's right. Oh my God, it runs all the time.
You know, it's in reruns like 4 times a day.
My favorite thing about U.S. Thanksgiving, was I knew there was a Law and Order marathon on A&E all day, and you were on all the time.
So I get the benefit of being, you know, credited with staying on it for more than a decade while only having lived on it for 4 years.
You know, a lot of cop shows have been criticized for the way they treat different cultures on television, how they work with stereotypes. What was your experience like on Law and Order in that respect?
That was up till that point completely. It was a refreshing approach to creating a character, because I was actually brought in before the character was formed and allowed to have some input as to who this person was. He allowed my input as far as representing a person who was a bicultural person like myself. You know, you don't need to look far, really, beyond your own circle of friends to recognize that either yourself or the friends within your circle, they have a lot of different influences.
Good to see you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Benjamin Bratt, everybody. The Lesser Blessed is the name of the film.